Good morning. You are listening to the Alex Feuz Show, bringing you all of the news, sports debates, interviews with people you all care about, and so much more. Every single weekday on Dean College Power 88 Radio, broadcasting live from 7 to 8 a.m. And now, here's your host, Alex Feuz.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I am your host, Alex Feuz, and wow, it is good to be back here on the radio at Power 88 here at Dean College. In the studio today is George Hathaway. We're both bringing you up until the 8 o'clock hour this morning. We have so much to talk about. The Yankees and the Astros had another game last night, and oof, if you're a Yankee fan, what a disappointing game. What a disappointing series. And then also we'll be talking about Patrick Mahomes had an injury as well last night. We'll be talking about the future to him and how long the injury is going to put him out for, and how crucial is that for the New England Patriots. Also, we'll be talking about, if you listen to this show the past week and a half or so, I wasn't here. I was actually on vacation in San Antonio, Texas. So we'll be talking about some cool restaurants that I actually tried down in San Antonio, Texas, that I'm really excited to share with you all about, because if you're from the Northeast and you've never been down south, there are so many great restaurants down there that they consider fast food, and it's just so good. So we'll be talking about that, as well as some top 5 news headlines of the day. So another big show planned out for you. But before we get started, joining me in the studio once again is George Hathaway. George, how is the train traffic and weather looking like out there today?
Good morning, Alex. Welcome back. Taking a look at the weather, it is currently 46 degrees, and there will be a high of 57 with some sun shining in later in the afternoon. Saturday looks nice and sunny, but Sunday seems to be cloudy with a chance of rain. Now, looking at your morning commute, there is some heavy traffic in the Braintree on I-93 North. Near Norwood and to Canton on I-95 North, there is heavy traffic heading into Boston. In Franklin, there is no traffic on the morning ride in. For the train report, bus shuttles replace Red Line train service between Broadway and Kendall over 4 weekends. Shuttle buses replace B branch service between Boston College and Babcock Street over 4 weekends. That is all for the weather, traffic, and train report. Now let's send it back to Alex.
Well, thanks, George. So once again, starting off the show today, the Astros defeated the Yankees on Thursday night at a score of 8-3, and now the Astros have a 3-1 lead in the American League Championship Series. Justin Verlander on the mound tonight for the Astros, going up against the Yankees. It's a do-or-die game for the Yankees, and last night, George, that was a game that the Yankees had to win, right? It was the Astros had the 2-1 lead in the series. They had Masahiro Tanaka, who has really been their ace this postseason for the Yankees, because let's face it, George, the Yankees don't have a Justin Verlander, a Garrett Cole, a Zach Greinke, and when the Yankees are forced at their hand to put guys on the mound like a Tanaka, like a Severino, like a Paxton, that are going up against guys that, Garrett Cole is the best pitcher in the world at what he's doing. There is no one better than Garrett Cole, and he's about to get paid. Let me tell you something, George. In this offseason, whether or not Garrett Cole has a 2019 World Series ring on his finger or not, he is going to get paid this offseason, whether or not he goes to the LA Angels that just have Joe Madden as their manager, whether or not he goes to the Yankees that maybe the Yankees need to get that front of the line ace starter pitcher. Maybe he'll go to the Red Sox. You never know. Maybe he'll go to the Dodgers. There's so many different teams in there that could always use, Garrett Cole is the best pitcher in baseball. But also, I could also argue the Verlander is also one of the best in baseball. And also Zach Greinke is one of the best in baseball. And the Astros have all three. And when the Astros made the trade to get Zach Greinke at the last seconds of the trade deadline on July 31st, this past trade deadline season, everyone was saying how this was going to put the Astros either in the World Series or to win it. And now they lead the series 3-1.
You're so right, Alex. Garrett Cole, he's probably a front runner for the Cy Young Award. Along with his teammate Justin Verlander as well. So the Astros pitching has been phenomenal all postseason, And that's the main reason why I think that they're going to win the World Series is because of their pitching. If they cannot let the other team get hits, I mean, look at the Yankees. I mean, they didn't really get much off of Garrett Cole in that game. And then, I mean, now they have Verlander up next, but they're home in the Bronx. One last game, and that's the game that they need to win. That's a must-win game for the Yankees, literally, because, I mean, they're down 3-1. But, I mean, you need to win one at home, and I think that's what's so disappointing about, like, this stretch right now is that, you know, they had the extra day off because the game was pushed due to weather. So, and that, you know, led Tanaka to kind of come into play because they're going to have a bullpen pitcher start. I mean, both teams are going to have their bullpen come out and start. So, I mean, by having Tanaka come out and start, Tanaka's been a phenomenal playoff pitcher all throughout his career. So it was kind of disappointing to see how the Yankees played last night, and then CC Sabathia got hurt late into the game. So it was just kind of disappointing to see all that happen and unfold. And the Yankees, they need to win this game, but you're up against Verlander. So the odds aren't really in the Yankees' favor to win that game. And I think if they kind of prove to, you know, everybody that they can beat Verlander, then I think they can kind of go to Houston and maybe put up a fight. But then they're going to be playing against Cole, who's arguably, like you said, the best pitcher right now in the MLB. So really, you have the two best pitchers up next for the Yankees. And I think their mindset having to go in is just you have to be positive and not look at, you know, you're playing against Verlander and Cole. You have to be looking at that. You just need to produce your offense, get hits, because the Yankees have the best hitters right now. You know, you have Judge, who's playing good. I mean, Gregorius is playing good too. So, and you have Stanton too. So you have the best hitters, and you need to kind of produce that off of the pitching. And I think that's the only reason why the Yankees aren't, you know, going to be going on is because you can't really hit off of Verlander and Cole.
No, you can't. But to your point to the Yankees hitting, that's been one of the biggest downfalls, right? Everyone talks about the Yankees don't have when you match up the starter rotation against these two teams. You look at guys like Verlander, Cole, Greinke, and then you look at the Yankees who have Tanaka, Paxton, Severino. Those are their kind of. They're going up against each other, and the Astros, hands down, best rotation. The Astros have the best rotation in baseball, let's face it. And a lot of people talked about the Yankees bullpen, but look at the 2014 Royals, right? They had a stronger rotation and a strong bullpen. The Yankees don't have that strong rotation to kind of even make that bullpen even more of a threat. When you have to go to the bullpen in the third or fourth inning in a series or a game per se, going up against, not only do the Astros have the best rotation in baseball, not only do the Astros have one of the strongest bullpens in baseball, because the fact is, George, the reason why they have such a strong bullpen is because their starters go 7 to 8 innings every single night in the postseason to make guys like Osuna, who you only see in the ninth that the Astros are up, and let's face it, the Astros are up a lot in the ninth inning, where you only see a guy like Osuna that one time versus a Chad Green, who on the Yankees, where you might have to throw out there Chad Green 2 to 3 innings at a time to try to just burn innings. If you want to win in the postseason, George, you can't burn through your pitchers, and especially just try to get through the innings. That's not how the postseason works. That's maybe how you can win over 100 games like the Yankees did in the regular season, because you're facing teams like the Mariners, the Marlins, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Baltimore Orioles over 15 times. Those are the teams that you can throw out there, Chad Green, and for 2-3 innings and get by. But when you're facing the best offense in baseball and also the best rotation in baseball against the Houston Astros, you can't do that and expect to win every single night. And we're seeing that now.
You cannot do that at all. I mean, when you burn all your pitchers, it's just going to cause your downfall to, you know, come at a greater rate. And you see that a lot now in the MLB, where managers and pitching coaches are kind of putting out their bullpen sooner rather than later into the game. And I saw that happen in the postseason as well. I think it was the Braves-Cardinals series, and I think the Braves, they put in a pitcher for maybe 3 pitches and then took him out and put in a bullpen. So I mean, that's just so weird. It's so uncommon to see, and it's becoming regular now in the MLB. You saw that a lot in the regular season, but in the postseason, you're right. You cannot do that. You cannot burn out your pitchers so frequently, because you are just going to kind of create more of like a problem for your team if you're just going to be burning out pitchers so frequently.
And especially you lose, like, let's say, George, right? You have, I guess I'll just use Mariano Rivera, right? The best closer of all time.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw out Mariano Rivera every single night against a team, they're going to figure him out, no matter how good you are. And when you overuse guys, I mean, that's kind of what the Tampa Bay Rays did so well going up against the Astros, is that they really only used their bullpen arms a couple of times in the series to where they seemed fresh. And a guy like Jose Altuve had to adjust going up against those pitchers because they only faced them for 1 or 2 at-bats or none. But now when we are going into Game 5 tonight in New York for the Yankees, and you've already seen Chad Green and Aroldis Chapman and Adam Ottavino, who's been really struggling for the Yankees. He's now allowed at least 1 run in 4 appearances this postseason. That's the most there's ever been in postseason baseball. So Adam Ottavino is really struggling right now for the Yankees, who pitched great in the regular season. It's so funny, this game of baseball, as John Sterling, the voice of the Yankees, always says, well, Susan, you just can't predict baseball. And that's the thing. You just can't predict it. You could have a really phenomenal regular season Clayton Kershaw, and in the postseason, you struggle at Clayton Kershaw. It's that simple. You could have one of the best players in baseball in the regular season, and once October clicks, or November, it could all disappear and you're a completely different player. Derek Jeter, pretty good regular season, but postseason Derek Jeter, I would say there's almost no one better. I mean, talk about clutch moments. Same thing with David Ortiz. David Ortiz, of course, phenomenal regular seasons. But the Grand Slam back in 2013, and moments like those are the reason why there are so many baseball fans here today. If you've been a fan of baseball your whole entire life and you've been watching baseball since you've been a little kid, you understand the meaning to postseason baseball. There is something about it that is unlike any other. It's almost like March Madness, but with a bat and a baseball. There's so much. It's a spectacle. That's what it is.
No, it is. And you kind of talked about like players in the regular season and postseason. I mean, you look at the Nationals pitchers in Scherzer and Strasburg and how they do good in the regular season, but then history kind of shows that those two pitchers, they don't do well in the postseason. And that's why a lot of people kind of slept on the Nationals not, making it past the wild card or even making it past the Dodgers. No one thought of that happening. And Strasburg and Scherzer have been pitching phenomenal in the last 2 games. And the Nationals pitching, I mean, you can't really compare it to the Astros, but I mean, you're not allowing, like no hitters through 7 innings in like back-to-back games. That's amazing. That's uncalled for. So, I mean, the Nationals, they have a pretty long break though, and that kind of could be, in a positive way for them, but it could also hurt them in a way if they kind of are too kind of relaxed. But if they're going to be playing a hot Astros team that's kind of coming off a series win, I mean, they're probably going to get swept in the World Series. But I mean, if you play a hot Yankees that kind of came from this comeback, the Nationals will still kind of lose because both those teams in the AL kind of have that momentum going in.
A lot of people talk about this American League Championship Series between the Yankees and the Astros, that whoever wins is winning the World Series. But I have to say, George, this Nationals team is a team that won the wild card game, so going into the postseason was already an underdog. Going up against the Dodgers in the first round, who the Dodgers were termed to go or to win the World Series this year, right? The most wins in all of baseball. They dealt with the Dodgers pretty well, and then they made the Cardinals look so bad. So, again, this Nationals team has that mentality where we have nothing to lose at this point. This is the first time that there's been a postseason game in Washington, D.C. since 1930s, and they are waiting for them to bring home a championship. And to be honest, I have to say, no matter whether it's the Yankees or the Astros, the Nationals are going to put up a fight.
Oh, yeah, they will.
And especially, I know you were talking about the rotation that the Nationals have. That's kind of on paper. The two, if it's the Astros and the Nationals in the World Series, those are the two best rotations that, I mean, we could possibly have ever seen in the game, especially in this decade. Because when you have guys like Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg going up against guys like Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole and Zach Greinke, those are the best pitchers in the game going up against one another in the World Series. And that's what this game is all about. Matchups. Everyone loves matchups. And we're going to be seeing a lot of them, whether or not it's the Yankees in the World Series, the Astros in the World Series going up against the Washington Nationals.
I think having the Nationals in the World Series is great for the first World Series in over 86 years. So it's good for the sport of baseball. You're going to get a lot of fans to watch it, especially because there's going to be a lot of talk about the Nationals, how it's their first, World Series run as the team named the Nationals. I mean, 86 years ago, that was different. And then in the capital city, too, I mean, everyone's going to be all eyes there. So, and if it's against the Astros or Yankees, those are two household teams right there where everybody talks about them. And I think that regardless of whoever's playing the Nationals in the World Series, like you said, it's just going to be a great series and something that is kind of going to go down as a great World Series.
100%. But coming up next here on Power 88 Radio, top 5 news headlines of the day. What's in the headlines? We'll find out next here on Power 88. Welcome back here on Power 88 Radio. Alex Feuz and George Hathaway bringing you up to the 8 o'clock hour this morning here, broadcasting live from Dean College. Top 5 news headlines of the day this morning. George and I will be talking about that. Headline number 5 today, Qantas Airlines to launch the world's longest nonstop flight from New York to Sydney, Australia. A Boeing 787 Dreamliner from Qantas Airlines is seen on the tarmac, and it will be taking off today. And it's going to be the longest ultra long haul test flights planned by Australia's national flag carrier this year. Up to 40 passengers and crew, the most of them Qantas employees, will be on the board. And it departs today from New York, and then the plane is scheduled to arrive in Sydney, Australia on Sunday morning.
Wow. That's going to be a very long flight. I mean, Friday to Sunday on just a plane, and you're going to be sitting there. I mean, imagine how tired your legs must be and how, I don't know. I just can't sit on a plane I just can't even sit that long. I mean, I need to be, up and moving. I remember when I went to Greece over the summer, and it was about a 7-8 hour plane ride. But still, I mean, my legs are just kind of getting all right, I need to get up, I need to move, I need to be antsy. I was antsy. And I cannot imagine just going on a plane for that long. And just, they have to have something. I mean, I need to be moving around. I'll probably end up taking a walk if I was on that plane, a walk around the plane. And imagine the jet lag too that you must be facing. I mean, it's a 15-hour difference between Sydney and New York. So just imagine, it's just physically it will take a toll on you. I mean, if you take a 2-day plane ride and then have 15 hours of you're used to it being 7 o'clock here, but in the morning, but then it's 10 o'clock there in the next day or in the evening. So it's just going to be so weird to kind of be a passenger and kind of take that all in.
And especially, I mean, I have a little jet lag today, and it's only an hour difference.
Yeah, so imagine 15.
Yeah, and I mean, when you spend a whole weekend, I mean, in Texas now it's 6:22, and I mean, but here it's 7:22. Just that hour throws you off. And what's funny is, well, not funny. It's going to be one of the biggest tests because there's no Wi-Fi on the plane.
Wow.
So if you're on this plane for over 20 hours, you now have to go off the grid for a complete day.
I mean, it's doable for some people, but I mean, you kind of want to connect back to, people at home when you're going up against like such a. And maybe they probably have a tracker on the plane like they do nowadays, where they kind of like you can see, if you're home, you can see where the plane is and everything. So I mean, I guess people could do that to wonder about family members or friends that are on that plane, just make sure they're okay and everything. But still, it'll be weird for some people, not being off the grid for that long.
Would you do it if the airline called you and offered you some money?
Yeah, I'd do it. Would you?
Depends. I mean, do I get to stay in Australia for a little bit?
I mean, I assume you are able to.
I mean, like that would be the deciding factor.
Yeah, that's true. If I'm
give me a hotel for like 3 or 4 days and I'll do it.
3 or 4 days in Australia. You just need 3 or 4 days?
Yeah.
Really, not longer.
No, I mean, I don't typically like a long vacation because then I'll never want to go back, like to where I'm supposed to go back to. So I like shorter vacations, but that way it kind of feels quick and that you feel like a quick refresh. And especially it's so far away. I mean, maybe a week. I mean, to Australia, that'd be nice. But yeah, I mean, for a 3 or 4 day vacation for free.
Oh, I'd do it.
Yeah, especially Australia. So
I know
beautiful.
Australia is a nice place.
Headline number 4: Stephen Colbert gets a stay up late for at least 3 more years. As Stephen Colbert signed a new contract through 3 more years, and this is through 2023. And the late night show, Stephen Colbert, has been one of the most popular late shows, going up against Jimmy Fallon, as well as Jimmy Kimmel. And Colbert has really been on the rise in the ratings. So, interesting story about Stephen Colbert coming up today, and signed on for 3 more years with CBS.
That's good for him. I'm more of a Conan kind of fan. I like Conan O'Brien. He's pretty funny. I mean, Jimmy Fallon too. Jimmy Kimmel are great too.
I love Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, I haven't really watched Colbert. I mean, I need to watch, and I think that's why they get so many viewers is because of how funny they are. I mean, even the talent that they bring on air as well. I mean, every week is just someone different, and it's always a great thing to watch, and it kind of always leaves you in suspense for the next show. Like, oh, who are they going to bring on this time? If they brought a really big celebrity, they're going to have to top that if they want to get more viewers. So it's always great to watch late night shows, and the topics they talk about too, they're great.
They make sometimes serious news stories funny.
Yeah, they do.
And make it easier to talk about, that's for sure. So Stephen Colbert on with CBS through 2023, and then also following Stephen Colbert, if you're already watching, who's really the rising star, in my opinion, is James Corden, the Late Late Show. So James Corden follows Stephen Colbert, and James Corden is so good at what he does. You've seen the carpool karaoke, right?
Oh yeah, those are great to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, he posted one of those on YouTube, and then like within a day, it was #1 on trending on YouTube. And
he just did one with Chance the Rapper.
That was good.
Did you see that one?
I have not yet. My favorite one he did though was with Migos. That was a good one.
That was a
funny.
good one. I like the Cardi B one that they did. I mean, there are so many of them that he's done now that. I mean, it's almost
his shows are funny.
That's his niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his claim to fame,
right?
And he's so good at doing it.
Yeah, it separates him from like the rest. Like you don't see anybody else doing a carpool karaoke with, really big name artists out there. And I mean, he even does like these great skits with The Rock and Kevin Hart as well. So I mean, he can do it all, and he's a really funny guy too.
So funny and so good at what he does. Headline number 3, these apps are an Uber driver's co-pilot. So if you are interested in downloading apps where you can get through the traffic better, the first one is Sherpa Share. It uses location tracking to chart the mileage driven, and at the end of each trip, the driver indicates its purpose as work or leisure. So I think this one is more of this is interesting. Drivers can deduct 58 cents per mile driven from their taxes as a business expense. So it's important to keep track. So in theory, if you're an Uber driver and you have Sherpa Share, it keeps track of every mile you've driven, and it will take money out of your taxes for you.
That's good.
Yeah. And then you also have the Waze app that you see a lot of the Uber drivers use.
I use that.
And I think we do use it in the morning here, and that's how we track track the traffic here in the studio this morning when we do the traffic updates is the Waze app. And that's really cool because I don't know if you ever using the Waze app while driving, George, but my favorite thing is it will tell you if there's a police officer ahead, if there's an accident, if there's a route that's faster. If you start on a route and then something else pops up and it takes 5 minutes off your route, you can click the button and it pops up the new route for you. So it's all around a great app.
No, I use that app too when I drive, especially if I go long distance places. If I'm kind of going like an hour and a half drive, across the state or something, then I use it just so I can know where the cops are. So it's something good to know where the cops are. It's not like I'm breaking the law or anything, right?
George, are you breaking the law?
No, I'm not speeding.
George,
on the highway. No.
Do you speed?
No, I do not.
Are you lying to me?
No. Not
Okay.
really. Over under is 5 miles per hour.
Huh?
You could go above 5.
Above 5, like the speed limit?
Yeah, no. So I mean, like if it's the speed limit 65, you can go 70. I mean, there's like that little.
Yeah, sometimes I'd push a little over 70 if it's 65.
Yeah. Oh, well. So now you need to know where the cops are.
Yeah, I mean, I would never go over 75.
Oh no, never. No. I mean, you see that here sometimes in Massachusetts, though, but that's a different story.
Depends how quick you need to get to a place. But no,
Yeah.
I would say sometimes if I'm on the highway, 71 or 72,
Yeah.
just put on cruise control and then you just kind of go along through your day. I mean, I don't think you would ever get pulled over for going 71 or 72.
No, I don't think so either, and that's why. I mean, but it's good to know where the cops are, and then you have it tells you if there's an object on the road, if there's a car pulled over on the side, so you can kind of merge over, so you're not really into like getting into more traffic, and it tells you how heavy the traffic if it's really heavy, if it's some light traffic, or if there's no traffic at all. So I think Waze is a great app.
Did I ever tell you the story about the one time I blew out a front tire this past summer? So I was driving back home, right? And I just got my tires rotated, and it was raining out, and I was on the highway, and it was kind of hard to see, right? Because the rain made just the visibility kind of, it was a downpour, so it was bouncing off the ground, so you couldn't really see anything on the road. And I guess it was like a big rock in the road, and I hit it with my left front tire. It popped, and I was on the highway. So I had to pull over on the side of a bridge, right? And it's pouring rain, and I call my dad. I'm like, hey, I am on the side of the road. I think I popped my tire. And he's like, well, call AAA. I called AAA, and they called a police officer to sit behind me because I was on a bridge, right? And it was pouring rain, and I didn't want someone to back up into me on the side of the road. And so there's a cop sitting behind me, and then AAA comes, and we had to get a new tire put on. And it's just insane how a little object in the road could create such a scary moment. Luckily, nothing happened to me or the car besides the popped tire, but they said it was completely flat. I had to get all new tires.
Oh, wow.
All four, yes.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because I have a Subaru Legacy, and it's an all-wheel drive.
Oh.
So when one tire goes, you have to get them all done because Subaru that's how they make Subarus, I guess.
I guess that's the price you have to pay with the all-wheel drive, huh?
Yeah, I mean, but living in the Northeast my whole life, I need all-wheel drive.
Yeah, especially when it's snowing.
Yeah, and especially here in New England where it could be 65 degrees today and then snowing tomorrow.
That's only in New England.
But yeah, so that was kind of the unfortunate moment of the summer, and it kind of just hopefully Waze app helps with those situations to where people can report that stuff in the road. I know I reported it.
That's good.
That there was something in the road, but headline number 3, Netflix released their top 10 original movies and TV shows this past week, and they said that throughout the list that don't show the original programs in comparison, say HBO's Game of Thrones or NBC's Sunday Night Football. They say the top television series Stranger Things that is on Netflix is a really popular one. The Office is a really popular one, they said. And that Netflix has now reported in January that 40 million households have watched You, a drama, on Netflix. So over 40 million people watched this on Netflix. So Netflix is definitely one of the most popular streaming services.
It is.
And everyone has. Do you have Netflix, George?
No, I do not.
You don't have Netflix?
No, I don't. No.
Why not?
It's kind of expensive.
How much is it? Like $10 a month?
Yeah, but it depends on what package you get. So I mean, like,
I think it's expensive. I think it's more expensive than $10 now.
Yeah, I think it's like 15. But then like Disney Plus, right? You know,
yeah. Are you gonna get Disney Plus?
I'm kind of debating it because all like some of my favorite movies are any of the Marvel movies or. I mean, there's some good Disney movies out there, but all the Marvel movies are on there. Star Wars is on there. So, I mean, you're going to get a lot of people who are really big into Marvel comics and even into Star Wars kind of on that service. So, Netflix will be losing some people, but then you're going to have, the only show I kind of watch on that list that you just read out was The Office. The only show that I've seen on Netflix. I've never seen Stranger Things. I've heard good things about it, but I never really kind of got myself into it. One, because I don't have a Netflix. But yeah, I think I live without Netflix.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Like some days I'll forget I have Netflix, and then I'll start watching Netflix, and then I'll get sucked in to binge watching a show that I've never seen before. So that's kind of my downfall, is getting shows that that I really like that I start binge watching. I would say that would be my downfall. But other than that, yeah. So I love The Office.
Yeah.
I binge watch The Office, and I still watch a lot of the episodes from the past.
Of course.
I mean, those shows are so good.
They are. And Netflix is getting rid of it, so you're going to be losing.
They're late to the game, though.
Yeah.
NBC's late to the game.
Oh, they are. But, I mean, if you're going to be losing one of Netflix's top shows, I mean, you're going to kind of get some backlash, and people might not watch it or be using Netflix that much. But, I mean, Friends is still up there, which everyone kind of competes with Friends in The Office and which one's the greater show. And then I believe Seinfeld's coming to Netflix too.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think I read something about that.
Never seen that show.
Neither have I, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. I mean, everyone loves Seinfeld. Headline number 2, CC Sabathia, quote, left it all on the field on Thursday night, but it wasn't enough for the Yankees as they lost to the Astros 8-3. So CC Sabathia just couldn't finish his when coming out of the bullpen due to his shoulder injury, and many people tweeted out about the CC Sabathia injury. Trevor Bauer said, "If that's the last pitch we see you throw in a big league game at CC Sabathia, thank you for all the years and memories, from the dominance with the Indians to the run with the Brewers to the leadership with the Yankees. Cheers to you, one of the best to ever do it." Alex Rodriguez tweeted, CC Sabathia is a true warrior, throwing until he couldn't and then again trying. Baseball is life, and he showed it right there. #hero, #my brother, #nothing but respect. Phil Hughes tweeted, best teammate I ever had. Gave everything from the first pitch to his last. Thank you, CC Sabathia. Katie Sharp, who tweets out a lot of stats for the Yankees, she tweeted, players with over 250 wins, 3,000 strikeouts, a Cy Young Award winner, a postseason either Championship Series or World Series MVP, Randy Johnson, Bob Gibson, and CC Sabathia. And lastly, Aaron Judge quoted, that is our leader. He gave it all that he had.
It's sad to kind of see CC Sabathia kind of go out on a note like that, but he had a phenomenal career. He's on our generation. I mean, you think of some good pitchers. You have like Kershaw, Verlander, Cole, but then you kind of throw in Sabathia as well, who had a phenomenal career. And, you like people said, and I mean, Alex Rodriguez, he pitched until he couldn't pitch anymore. And that's what's, if you have a teammate with that much passion that will pitch until they can't anymore. And even when they couldn't, Sabathia still tried to. And that just shows how much he loves the game and how much passion and how much he puts into the game each and every day. And that's just dedication right there, and that's a good leader.
And it's kind of sad if you're CC, because the Yankees going into this season, I mean, were the favorites and maybe in some cases still are a favorite to go to the World Series or win it. I mean, the odds are kind of not in their favor as they trail the Astros 3-1 in the series. But this is, again, CC Sabathia is retiring after the 2019 season. Last night was probably the last time he'll pitch in a major league game just because of his injury. And, again, it's kind of unfortunate the way it went out for him.
It is.
But at the end of the day, you have to give him credit to just trying his hardest. And he literally could not pitch anymore. That's the thing. And he, again, has a passion and love for the game to come back this season and try his best. And he's kind of revitalized his career. You know, after his knee injury from 4 or 5 years ago, to now come back and be a really big spot for the Yankees the last 2 seasons in that rotation and now in the bullpen, where he really filled that void.
He did. And, the fact that he did it at Yankee Stadium one last time, and you saw the crowd, an uproar of how they applauded him, and you see that so often with the great pitchers when they retire, and it kind of gives you chills when you kind of rewatch how Mariano Rivera went out one last game and how he had his ovation, and then now Sabathia had his, and the Yankees had so many great closer pitchers in the years, and that players that these fans have, especially the big, you think of some big baseball teams, the Yankees come to mind, and the love that they have for their players. And you go to a Yankees game, it's a different atmosphere there. I remember going to one, and how they had the roll call there.
Yep.
And the roll call is so different. You don't see that in any other sport or even in any other stadium in baseball too. I mean, the fans there, how they kind of gave gratitude to Sabathia last night was amazing to see.
Last headline of the day is the national holiday of the day. Today is National Chocolate Cupcake Day. So what is National Cupcake Day, or Chocolate Cupcake Day, excuse me? Break rooms everywhere fill with a special kind of joy only brought by chocolate cupcakes. They go, thanks, Jan. That's funny. Chocolate cupcakes were born out of the 1796 cookbook called American Cookery and have since grown into a worldwide craze and dessert staple. So let's appreciate all there is about delicious chocolate cupcakes and the happiness they bring to everyone who enjoys them.
Cupcakes are an amazing dessert, Alex. I don't know. Do you like chocolate cupcakes?
I love chocolate cupcakes. I'm not a big chocolate fan.
Oh.
I don't like chocolate ice cream.
Really?
I hate it.
Why?
I love vanilla.
But vanilla just kind of is bland, though.
No, it's not. Vanilla is so good. I hate chocolate ice cream. I do love chocolate cake or
so
chocolate
good.
cupcakes. But the thing about cupcakes, right, is Dr. Shaw, the Dean of Business here at Dean College, he taught me the correct way to eat a cupcake.
There's a correct way to eat a cup. No.
Yes.
Is there really?
Yes, there's a correct way. And I've done it every single time I've had a cupcake. I do it this way now after he taught me how to do it. So you take a cupcake, you take the bottom off the cupcake, and you put it and smush the frosting down on top and make it into a sandwich.
Okay.
So you rip the bottom off the cake part, and then you put it on top of the cupcake in between. So now...
Oh, okay. So it's like a cupcake sandwich.
It's almost like a whoopie pie.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's not really a cupcake anymore. So it's just, okay.
Well, it's like a cupcake sandwich, I guess.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that kind of sounds good. I'm going to have to try that. Hopefully there's some chocolate cupcakes in the dining hall today.
Oh, I wonder. They need to start doing that, because every time we talk about something, I never see it in the dining hall.
Now I'm hungry.
Now I want a chocolate cupcake.
Yeah, now I just want a cupcake. Yeah, I want a chocolate cupcake. I love chocolate anything.
Anything?
Except for Tootsie Rolls. I don't like Tootsie Rolls.
That's random.
Yeah, I know. I just don't like Tootsie Rolls.
When I think chocolate, I don't think of Tootsie Rolls.
Well, I mean, you said anything chocolate, but so is Tootsie Roll chocolate? Is it?
I would say chocolate flavored. It's not chocolate.
Yeah, it's not chocolate. It's chocolate flavored. I don't know. I just don't like Tootsie Rolls.
You don't like Tootsie Rolls? Why?
I don't know.
I like the vanilla ones.
Of course, you like vanilla. All right. I don't know. I just never really kind of got into Tootsie
Kind of
Rolls.
hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like the taste of them.
Yeah, okay.
Milky Ways are my favorite candy, though.
I love Kit Kats.
Yeah.
Kit Kats are good. Snickers, you know yourself when you're hungry.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I get hangry, so I'll need the Snickers.
Do you have a Snickers on you all the time?
Sometimes. Depends on the day.
It's good to have.
Oh, boy. As I digress. So anyways, the headline of the day today, National Chocolate Cupcake Day. So grab some chocolate cupcakes today and celebrate with everyone. So coming up next here on Power 88 Radio, Patrick Mahomes injured his right knee against the Broncos last night. What's the update on him? Next on Power 88.
You wanted to see...
Welcome back here to Power 88 Radio. Alex Feuz and George Hathaway bringing you up until the 8 o'clock hour this morning. Chiefs Patrick Mahomes injured his right knee last night against the Denver Broncos. And now the wait begins to see how long it takes Patrick Mahomes to return from a gruesome right knee injury. Waiting in the wings just in case 35-year-old backup Matt Moore. George, it was tweeted this morning by Adam Schefter as well as Ian Rappaport tweeting out that the MRI results are going to come in later today about just what is the extent of the injury to the right knee of Patrick Mahomes. As of right now, a lot of people are pretty happy with so far of the reports. They say hopefully he'll be back in just 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So again, with the injury that happened last night, that's good news. But again, it's not really for sure just how long he's going to be out for if the MRI comes back and there's more to the injury.
Yeah, like you said, Alex, 3 weeks is like their best bet with Mahomes if he's out. So if he's, hopefully it's nothing serious. I mean, and yes, I'm a Patriots fan and all, but you don't like to see anybody hurt, no matter how good the Chiefs are. And they're pretty much the Patriots' biggest threat right now in the AFC. So you don't want to see anybody hurt. And Patrick Mahomes is an up-and-coming quarterback. He's pretty much the face right now of the NFL. You think of football, you kind of think of Patrick Mahomes. He's on the Madden cover and everything like that. I mean, and then we kind of
Madden cover this year.
Conspiracy theories, yeah, he is.
The Madden curse has returned.
Yes. I mean, last year with Antonio Brown. I mean, it took a little bit while for Antonio Brown's Madden curse to come, but
wasn't Brady on it like 2 years ago?
Yeah, and that's when the Patriots lost the Super Bowl. So,
whoa,
yeah. So the Madden curse is real, but you don't want to see Mahomes get hurt. He's a great quarterback. I mean, the Chiefs still won last night, 30-6. They are playing the Broncos though. So
yeah, the Broncos are struggling this year.
Oh, they really are. So
you don't like the Broncos, George, huh?
No, I mean, well, see, I don't like the Broncos because of how Peyton Manning was on there, but
what was that? Why?
That was a few years. I mean, because that was the Patriots' biggest problem. That was because of the Peyton Manning there.
Yeah,
he beat us in the in the AFC Championship game. Yeah. So I mean, that's why I don't like the Broncos. But I mean, the Broncos are a good team. I like their defense. Von Miller's good, but they really are.
Obviously not.
Well, yeah, clearly, but. The Chiefs, though, I mean, they don't have the best defense in the league, and the fact that the Broncos couldn't, kind of use that into their, best favor. I mean, with Mahomes down, and then, you're playing up against a defense that can't really do much. I mean, Joe Flacco, he's kind of at the end of his career, if you kind of think about it. It's kind of sad to see. He was a good quarterback. I wouldn't say he's an elite one, but he was a good one. And then the whole Mahomes injury on a QB sneak is kind of risky. He had his ankle injury that he got 2 weeks. I mean, last week. I mean, not before last night's game, but last week he had an ankle injury against the Texans that he kind of just kept playing with. But I mean, that's an unrelated injury because that was his left ankle. This is his right knee. But still, you kind of put that risk out there of making him run on a QB sneak with a ankle injury. So hopefully the MRI is nothing serious because it's going to be a rough 3 weeks for the Chiefs if Mahomes is out for that duration.
This, I believe, if the Patriots or if the Chiefs lose Patrick Mahomes, go ahead and put the Patriots back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. I think the team that the Patriots have to kind of watch out for is the Texans. Because, I mean, the Texans are a good team. Deshaun Watson is kind of starting to go up the hill a little bit. And he was a great quarterback when he first started out, but then he had that ACL injury. But to see him kind of come back from that and perform the way he's performing right now is great. And then the Ravens, too, is another kind of could be a Patriots problem. I mean, they got Marcus Peters now on their defense. Lamar Jackson looks good this year. I mean, he led them to the playoffs last year against the Chargers, but they lost. And so the Patriots kind of now have a clearer path to the Super Bowl. But then now, Alex, we're both Patriots fans, and if the Patriots go to the Super Bowl again, you're going to be hearing all that speculation. Mahomes was hurt, and that's why that they had it easier than they should have had it.
100%, I agree.
Yeah, so you're going to be hearing that all season long if the Patriots and if the Chiefs end up losing, you're going to hear, oh, well, Mahomes was hurt. Well, you know, what the Patriots have is, you know, if a player's hurt, next man up mentality. I mean, look at that front offensive line for the Patriots. They're all banged up, but the next man up is doing its job, and that's kind of what you have to do in the NFL these days is you have to step up and fill in that role and try to perform as well, if not better, than that starter.
In 30 seconds, we'll be back here on Power 88 with what food is down in Texas and what are some good restaurants down there. Coming up next on Power 88.
Have an interest in...
Welcome back to Power 88 Radio. Alex Feuz and George Hathaway bringing you up until the 8 o'clock hour this morning. Once again, I just returned from Texas. This is the first show I've done, and it's been a while, George, and it's good to be finally back in the studio. I know you and Austin Nakuda have been filling in for me when I was gone, and I was listening every morning, and you guys did a great job every morning. And it was a great listen. Pretty weird listening to the show away because it was weird not being here. But it was awesome to hear you guys. So I tried some restaurants. I had some fast food chains on my bucket list that I've never had that everyone always talks about. The first one that I finally got to have that I've never had before is In-N-Out Burger.
I know you're very excited about that. You're telling me all prior to leaving for San Antonio, you're telling me I can't wait to try In-N-Out Burger. And
yes.
So how was it?
It was amazing. It was honestly so good. It was one of the best burgers I've had. The thing about Texas, George, and I think this is the reason why I love it there so much. By the way, what's so nice about Texas, it's an hour earlier there. So everything starts an hour earlier. So if there's a game on at 8 o'clock, it's only 7 o'clock there.
Right.
And if the game's at 7, it's at 6. That's probably one of my favorite things that I'm going to miss, that the game started a whole hour earlier. But anyways, In-N-Out Burger, one of the best burgers I've ever had. And the thing about fast food down in Texas, George, it doesn't taste like fast food.
Really?
No.
Does it taste fresh?
Yes. Whataburger. I had Whataburger when I was down there. Again, a restaurant that was on my bucket list that I was really excited to have. Raising Cane's. It's like a Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's which is really good. And what's funny about all the fast food options down there, right? You have In-N-Out Burger, Whataburger, Cane's. I'm getting hungrier by the second now just talking about all these great fast food options that we had down there. Is again, it doesn't taste like fast food, and there's only the basic options. So there's never a menu that has more than 5 options.
That's good.
So if you can't really make decisions easy about what you want to eat, move to Texas because you got like 4 or 5 options on the In-N-Out menu where you either want a single burger or a double burger. That's about it. So you kind of had those are your options, and that's what you go with if you're going to In-N-Out Burger. And Whataburger was unbelievable. And all the bread down there, so good. Just so good bread. All homemade down there.
Oh, wow.
And just the bread is to die for. And also, one thing that I finally tried that I'll remember, I had it as a kid, but I don't remember having it, is Krispy Kreme donuts. Have you ever heard of Krispy Kreme?
Yeah, I've had Krispy Kreme donuts before.
Amazing.
They're really good. I love their glazed donuts.
Yes. That's
so
what I
good.
had.
And they're fresh. That's the thing. Like you know, you can tell that they're kind of made that day or made like that hour too. I mean, you can just tell that when you bite into it, it's just so mouth-watering.
Yeah, and everyone always talks about, well, when Krispy Kreme has the light on, I guess have like a red light in the window, that's when they're fresh. Oh. So if you drive past a Krispy Kreme, obviously you won't see one in the Northeast. But if you're down south and you see a Krispy Kreme and you see the lights on, that means that there's fresh donuts.
Ooh.
So that's like when you get the box of donuts, the box is hot because that's how fresh they are.
Wow, that's a good fun fact to know. I want to go down there and know when to get fresh food. That's good.
Yeah, we went there at 10:30 at night. So the donuts weren't that fresh per se, but they were still so good. I had a chocolate glazed one and a glazed one.
Oh, chocolate
the chocolate glazed one was, oh my gosh, it was so good.
My favorite donut.
Chocolate. I mean, I love chocolate donuts as well. I know I'm not a big chocolate guy, but I love the chocolate donuts down there.
Is everything bigger in Texas?
In what way?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. They say, everything's bigger in Texas, so.
I would say, I mean, to be honest with you, George, Texas is now my favorite state. I love Texas.
Okay.
I would love to live in Texas. And I think Texas is really underrated. And it was pretty funny is we went down to San Antonio, right? And we're just in downtown. There's no traffic. And I go,
really?
Well, when does it get busy here? It was like a Friday night. And we were in downtown San Antonio, and they go, this is busy. What do you mean? Like, there's no traffic. That's how laid back it is down there. And where I was staying, we were about 10 minutes out of downtown, and it felt like you were just in a small neighborhood here in Franklin.
Oh, wow. I love that kind of laid back mentality some cities have. I mean, you kind of come up here to the Northeast of Boston or New York, everything's go, go, go. You can't really get a time for yourself to really relax and kind of just take a moment to yourself. But I mean, going down south in the warmer weather, I mean, you have that opportunity to kind of relax and kind of take things at your own pace.
The weather, though, was nice when I was down there, but I guess it gets really hotter. The first night I was wearing, I left here last Thursday morning. It was 37 degrees in the morning,
Ooh.
George. And when I landed, the pilot goes over the speaker, I guess, on the plane, and he said, it's 101.
Wow.
So I went from 37 to 101 in under 5 hours.
Oh, gosh. Wow. I mean, were you wearing sweatpants when you left here?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you must have been kind of hot when you first got off that plane?
Yeah. I changed into shorts right away because I would have passed out.
Oh, yeah.
I was wearing a sweatshirt, too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, I know.
I knew it was going to be warmer.
But not that warm.
But not, almost 80 degrees warmer.
Oh, gosh, that's insane. And how, I don't know, you live up here your entire life and you're just so adapted to the cold, but then you go down south and you experience the warm weather. It's different. You just kind of want to stay there. And I mean, have they ever experienced? Have you asked them if they ever experienced snow?
It snowed there 2 years ago.
Okay.
It stayed for one day. They don't have any plows down there or anything because what's the point?
Right.
It just melts. So they haven't had snow in about 2 years, but they said it's been getting a little colder there. It hit down to 55 when I was down there. Yeah. So it did get a little colder to them. You know what was funny about this, right, George? I know we have just a couple seconds left, but it was 70 degrees, 75 degrees, right? That's perfect weather. People were wearing winter coats and winter hats.
No, I don't like that. I don't like, they just kind of rub it in our face how cold they are, but warm we are.
Yep. Winter coats and winter hats.
Oh.
But anyways, that will conclude the show today. For George Hathaway, I'm Alex Feuz. Thank you for listening this morning. Have a great rest of your Friday. We'll be back next Monday at 7 a.m. here on Power 88, broadcasting live from Dean College with so much more. Big guests next week, Mike Breen and Ariel Hellemway from ESPN joining us live on the show next week. So thanks for listening, and we will be seeing you next week. Have a great rest of your day.